The Arctic might appear majestic and serene, but it's also terrifying when you realize there's no running water, no porcelain throne, and everything freezes instantly. Now imagine trying to maintain basic hygiene in that environment. So, how do the Inuit use the toilet? Or take a shower at negative 85 degrees Fahrenheit? Let's just say it's not like we do. Buckle up as we uncover the jaw-dropping truth about how the Inuit answer nature's call and stay clean in one of the harshest climates on Earth. First rule of Arctic bathroom breaks: there is no bathroom. For the Inuit, indoor plumbing is a fantasy, and pee turns into icicles before it hits the ground. But the Inuit didn't bother about having toilets because at the freezing temperatures of negative 85 degrees Fahrenheit, pipes can easily freeze and water turns to rock. Your business can even become a permanent ice sculpture. This wasn't as bad as you might think. The Inuit took advantage of this because once your waste freezes at those freezing temperatures, they won't smell anymore. What's more, the natural cold will reduce bacterial growth and improve their hygiene. Instead of having bathrooms, the Inuit used strategic outdoor spots that were a good distance from the camp to get on with their business. The extreme cold made it a bit uncomfortable for the Inuit, but who has a choice when there's no real toilet? For toilet paper, the original Arctic wipe was fresh snow in winter and tundra moss in the summer. For the Inuit that were used to the cold temperatures, using snow to clean their butt wasn't as bad as it might be for you and your shaman. Even infants weren't exempt from Arctic potty training. Some Inuit mothers lined baby carriers, a mauti, with grassy patches, which was their original diaper. The Inuit were zero waste before it was trendy. Because of the cold, the Inuit practiced using their toilet upon waking up, before and after meals, and before bedtime. It was best to go while accompanied by someone else, as you never know what can attack you with your trousers at your ankles. When you live in a place where water freezes faster than you can say hypothermia, you need to get creative. There are no hot showers and bubble baths in the Arctic, but there's a snow bath. But it's not as bad as it sounds, and you can try it too. The first step was to gather the right snow for cleaning. Not all snow is created equal, and the same snow for making an igloo isn't the same for a bath. The Inuit knew fluffy, dry snow was the perfect choice. It was the right texture to remove dirt and germs away from the skin and hair, but not too wet that it sticks to the skin. What's more, the wet snow offered instant frostbite, which would do more harm than good. The Inuit rubbed the snow on their hands and face as a good method of wiping away dirt, grime, and sweat. It was also a cooling agent that was good for the skin in the harsh Arctic environment. After a rough hunting expedition, the Inuit hunters used snow to get rid of dirt, blood, and animal tissues. In a place where there was no soap and water readily available, snow was always available to the Inuit. But they avoided letting the snow linger for too long, or you can end up freezing your fingertips or face. Instead, they stuck to the scrub, dry, dress sequence. Snow wasn't just used for skin, but it doubled as the coldest washing machine in the world. They beat their furs with fresh, powdery snow, and the dirt fell away while the fabric stayed dry. Could you handle a snow bath? Let's know your thoughts in the comments. The Inuit came up with something far more unorthodox than snow, and that was cleansing with animal oils. Instead of fancy serums, the Inuit made skincare out of pure necessity, using only what the Arctic provided: seal oil, whale blubber, and caribou fat. The process of cleaning the body with oil was simple but effective. The Inuit first rendered the oil, melting it from seal or whale fat. It is sometimes mixed with herbs for a stronger scent. After all, there was no soap. Then the Inuit massaged the oil into their skin. The heat of the oil warmed the skin, and at the same time it loosened dirt and dead cells. Finally, they scrape off the oil using a tool made from bone or animal antlers. and this removes the grime with it. The result? Clean, moisturized skin with a built-in barrier against windburn. Sometimes, Inuit still rubbed their skin with snow after this process. Aside from cleanliness, animal oils were also used to take care of the skin, especially for the women and children. In negative 85-degree Fahrenheit winds, anyone could end up with dry skin, cracks, and these cracks lead to frostbite. The oil's fatty acids create a shield, locking in moisture and repelling the brutal cold. Compared to your fancy moisturizer, this was skincare that actually fought against the elements. Today, brands are now bringing back these ancient methods, infusing whale oils into balms and cleansers. Science confirms what the Inuit knew, that these oils are packed with omega-3s and vitamins, healing cracked skin and protecting them away from the cold. Next time your skin feels dry, ask yourself, would you rub whale oil into your skin? Not as nice as it sounds. Despite the Arctic having water that is frozen solid most of the year, the Inuit mastered one of the greatest luxuries of humanity, a hot bath. But it wasn't only about turning open the tap and filling the bathtub. Instead, it took hours for the steam bath to be prepared, and so it wasn't done every day. The process seemed simple in theory, but it was brutal in practice. For one, they put up a tent that could be sealed on all sides so that the steam won't escape once the bath is set up. After that, they heat volcanic rocks in a fire for hours until they're glowing hot. Next, they place the rocks inside the tent, placing it around and putting more than enough. Finally, they pour water over the hot rocks, and this creates a burst of steam in the enclosed space. The steam fills up the tent, allowing the Inuit to have a warm bath. The steam bath wasn't a daily routine. Between gathering firewood, heating stones, and maintaining the steam, a single bath could take half a day. So it was only organized during special occasions like post-hunt or illness recoveries, or healing sore muscles. Or if the Inuit hadn't had a bath in a long time, the entire family or community could finally organize one together. Beyond hygiene, these baths were communal hubs. They usually had the baths together, with men in one tent and women and children in the other tent. As they bathed together, it was also time to unwind, share stories, or treat ailments like arthritis. Okay, brace yourselves. The Inuit used urine for cleaning. When you live in a place where water is frozen 9 months of the year, you get creative with hygiene. And nothing proves that better than the Inuit's most surprising cleaning agent, urine. Morning urine, which has been aged for maximum potency, became a powerful antiseptic shampoo. The ammonia in the urine killed bacteria, and its acidity removed grease and dirt, prevented scalp infections, and left hair shiny. Urine wasn't the only solution. When available, the Inuit used yucca root, which has natural saponins for a gentle lather. They could also infuse the melted snow with herbs for lighter cleansing. Another option is animal fat rinses, which can condition the hair and protect it from windburn. But washing hair in the Arctic wasn't exactly relaxing. They had to work fast to protect the hair from freezing over and then dry it immediately to prevent frostbite. After that, they will oil the hair with seal fat to protect it from the cold. So, you still think your hair care routine is hardcore? The Inuit ran the most hardcore laundromat, where the washing machine was a snowbank, the dryer was the Arctic wind, and delicate cycle actually meant hitting your clothes back to softness. There is no detergent in the Arctic. The Inuit relied on snow's abrasive magic as they gathered cold snow for lifting oils from the skin and clothes, and slightly warmer snow for general dirt. And then they engaged in pounding and rolling garments to force out grime. After using snow to clean the clothes, things got hands-on. They used bone scrapers to remove stubborn grease from the clothes. In some cases, chewing leather softened stiff areas of the clothes. Just imagine having to chew your clothes to keep them soft. When they needed to take special care of the clothes, the Inuit washed their clothes by hand, using melted snow or fresh water if it was summer. They used their bare hands to agitate the clothes in the water, although it put them at risk of frostbite because, well, it's the Arctic. The final hurdle for the Inuit was drying clothes. In a world where the water flash freezes, they hung their furs above the kulak, which is a seal oil lamp. Another method was to dry clothes by placing them on racks above igloos, using the heat that naturally escaped from the top of the igloo. They carefully controlled ventilation to prevent the clothes from freezing or remaining damp. For you, all you have to do is open the tap and get as much water as you want. But for the Inuit, their world is a frozen desert, and every drop has to be earned through labor, patience, and a deep understanding of ice. In winter, the options for getting water were limited, but clever. The Inuit could get water in different ways by gathering fresh snow, glacial ice, or sea ice, and then melting it over time. There are no microwaves here. Melting snow for water involved endless chopping of ice and gathering snow, and then slowly rendering it over oil lamps and fire. If it was for drinking, they also filtered it through cloth to catch grit. But if the water was for washing clothes, the Inuit simply needed melted snow, and it didn't have to be completely liquid as long as it could wash the clothes clean. When the Inuit set up a steam bath, they had to carry buckets of soft snow and simply pour this on the hot stones without melting, as it had the same effect. Today, maybe Inuit communities have trucked water deliveries, or even piped systems, though some still rely on traditional methods when storms hit. At least, the traditional Inuit didn't have to worry about their water bill. When your house is made of snow, vacuuming is never a good option. Instead, the Inuit found other ways to keep their igloos spotless, with zero mops, zero bleach, and 100% frozen elbow grease. To clean their igloo, the Inuit used their feet to smooth the floors. Kicking and shuffling packed snow helped in keeping the surfaces even and polished. They also replaced the grimy patches of the igloo with fresh snow. Soot might stain the walls due to the kulak lamp, so they carved away the lamp-blackened walls with bone tools. Surprisingly, the air in the igloo was always fresh and clean with the lamp. The seal oil lamp wasn't just for heat, but it was the cleaning command center. It could not only dry clothes easily, but it also kept air circulating to prevent condensation, with less ice buildup. But even ice homes get grimy. The Inuit had to deal with food scraps, and they did so by burying it outside where it would eventually freeze and waste away. They also maintained their homes regularly, preventing it from falling apart despite all the blizzards. In the Arctic, staying clean isn't only about smelling nice, but it's about literally not dying. Hygiene is part of their life support because it's part of keeping them healthy in the freezing temperatures. Cleanliness is important because frostbite usually attaches itself to dirt. Sweat and grease can cause your fabric to freeze from the inside, leading to heat loss. Sweat freezing from the inside can also include the risk of hypothermia and frostbite. Or if there's cracked skin from being exposed to cold, they're open to infections. Climate change is already thawing ancient ice, potentially unleashing zombie pathogens. Yes, really. So with good hygiene, they can protect their body from the germs. There were no hospitals for miles, so the Inuit were open to infections if care wasn't taken. Today, many Inuit communities have running water and washing machines, but they still stick to tradition. They still use steam baths to detox and soothe their muscles, and for quick freshening, they go for snow baths. The Inuit also use seal oil moisturizer today, but regardless of how they clean, they've always focused on respect for the land. The Inuit bury waste back into the land so it decomposes, and they use zero synthetic methods, like urine, for cleaning. In the Arctic, keeping clean involves wearing the right clothes. Long before moisture-wicking and wind-proof became marketing buzzwords, the Inuit had already perfected the ultimate cold-weather gear. The secret to staying warm and clean? Caribou fur. Caribou hair is hollow and traps heat so efficiently that even in -85 Fahrenheit winds, the wearer stays warm without overheating. The outer guard hairs shed snow while the dense underfur locks in body heat. And because the fur naturally breathes, sweat doesn't linger, meaning no clammy, frozen fabric that can cause frostbite. Caribou alone wasn't enough for staying clean and dry on the wet Arctic coast. There, sealskin reigned supreme. Waterproof yet supple, it repelled snow and ocean spray while allowing hunters to move freely. Unlike your modern rain jacket today, sealskin vented moisture from the body and kept external dampness out. Layering for the Inuit was key. Instead of piling random fabrics, they carefully arranged their outfits to keep warm. They wore a base layer of thin fur that wicked sweat away, and then the middle layer was for insulation. The outer shell was used to block wind. That $400 puffer jacket? It's toast the second snow melts into it. And your moisture-wicking base layers are useless when sweat freezes into an icy second skin. That's why they had to be washed often with snow and dried till crisp. The Inuit system worked because it evolved in the harshest conditions on Earth. To keep their food safe from wild animals and any bacteria, the Inuit took advantage of the freezing weather. They had their permafrost pantry, where food stays fresh for months, and other necessities of life sometimes get discreetly tucked away. These underground ice cellars were carved deep into the permanently frozen earth and were their answer to food storage, as there is no electricity in the Arctic. But let's address the frozen elephant in the room. When you live in a place where the ground is too solid to dig a proper latrine and the air is too cold, you get resourceful. Occasionally, these cellars did double duty. Waste management in the Arctic wasn't about toilets or septic systems. Some things got buried in shallow snow pits far from camp and were a good option for waste management. Talk about Arctic efficiency. So next time your shower runs cold, remember, the Inuit are bathing with snow, washing hair with pee, and making seal oil facials. Drop your thoughts in the comments if you'd survive Arctic hygiene, or if you're sticking to your heated bathroom. And if you're curious about more hardcore Inuit survival hacks, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.